We are live, everybody. This is We've Got Issues. It is our regular opportunity to come to you guys with from a group of friends who've known each other for 40 years. We don't claim to be experts in any one thing, but we do bring a lifetime of our education, our life experiences, topics that we think are relevant to you today that you're probably discussing as well. So in as much as you may have certain things on your mind, we're thinking about them too, and we bring them to you to have a meaningful conversation. These are very, very, very difficult in some ways times, but also very intriguing times and times where we all hope to grow. And so I want to offer up to you our regular group of friends who are here today. We've got Ron Evans. He is a technology expert in the information software arena back east, as well as Darren Gray, who is a educator and works in faculty at University of Southern California. And we have Ella Neely, who is a experienced licensed contractor here in Los Angeles. And
battling a cold.
Battling a cold. Okay, well, anybody? How's everybody else feeling today? You guys all
good?
Good. Well, with that said, every week we have one of us bring the topic that they think is something we should all be thinking about. And today we're going to be in the able hands of Ron Evans. So, Ron, please tell us what's on your mind.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm also looking at the world and what's been going on, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. You may feel a certain way about what's happening in the world, both outside this country and inside. And it's a question I have that Darren actually has raised it over the past year on these podcasts. And the topic that he raised is what happened where our generation is enjoying the shade provided by those before us, and we somehow have not done anything ourselves. And there was a text chain in the fellas chat that I found interesting. And Nick, I think you have a clip that will describe Scott Galloway's initiative.
Many of us feel powerless right now. Dan Harris says action absorbs anxiety. But what is that action? The Trump administration doesn't respond to outrage. It responds to economic signals. When stock prices fall, when GDP looks threatened, when interest rates increase, all of a sudden we see very crisp walking back of the president's plans. We have a $30 trillion economy, and roughly 70% of it is driven by consumer spending. That is our secret weapon. Small, coordinated changes can move GDP. And when GDP moves, decisions get made. Today, the Trump administration is escalating ICE enforcement. Even worse news, it's with the help of corporations to provide the data, infrastructure, and logistics to make it all possible. That's why resist and unsubscribe isn't a protest, it's an economic strike. A temporary, coordinated pullback from consumer discretionary spending focused on where economic and political power is most concentrated, specifically tech and AI. That means pausing or canceling subscriptions from companies including Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, OpenAI, and more. We've built a website that makes it easy to maximize your impact. Go to resistandunsubscribe.com and take action. The most radical action in a capitalist society is non-participation. If you agree with us, don't like and subscribe. Resist and unsubscribe. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for that, Nick. So one of the things that I have spent my entire career on is the role of objectives and key results and metrics. And the reason I'm such a fan of those and why I've sort of built my career on that is because I think that what I describe myself as a pretty talker. I can use pretty words. I know how to shape a story, and I know how people try to use words to shape a story and lead you into a direction that they want to take you. Some conversations are like chocolate. They make you feel good, but they are devoid of nutrition and good calories. So the question I have for you today is, if we separate the virtue signals of how we are outraged and concerned about society and the direction it's going, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. What have you done? Okay, so I think what we have to figure out is, are we virtue signaling to make ourselves feel good? Or are we actually taking steps to say, you know what, I'm going to vote with my time or my treasures for the change that I would like to see this world become? Okay, fair? 3 questions. So, first one, go around the room. What have you given up in the past because of a cause or a stand that you believe in strongly? On my screen, I'll start going counterclockwise. How about you, Nick?
What have I given up to make a stand?
Yes.
Wow, I'm just trying to think. I don't know that I've been called out, so directly, like there's been a conscious, idea, other than, like, you remember back in our college days when it was to divest from South Africa, that was the big thing. I'm having trouble trying to think of something that I have been called or I decided to not do, or to not participate in, to create a change. There have been things that I have done proactively, but not withdrawn myself from, in that way. Right. So, for example, like, I was never a big street protester. Right. But during Black Lives Matter. Right. I got, I went out and protested in the streets, like, like millions or thousands or millions of other people. But
so you gave up your time.
Yeah, there was that. And certainly voting is a proactive, way of doing it. But I think we all have ambivalent feelings about our individual impact, on voting, if we don't, are not part of a critical mass, right? So, so in any event, I won't hog the stage, but those are 2 things that come to mind immediately.
All right. Ella?
So, is this, when you say, how far back are we going? Is it just recent, or is it
Past 20 years? 20 years.
Okay. Well, I
Get
started
closer to the
my,
mic, Ella.
so, I started my, I started in politics, actually. So when I graduated from college, I worked for the California Democratic Party, because I was, so in, actually, one of my first employers was the Jesse Jackson campaign. And it was through that campaign that I actually met my daughter's father, who was is a retired politician. And so politics is actually something that I've always loved to organize, to be involved, to try to educate people. And my daughter has kind of taken on that legacy, and through her church, or through her sorority, she's putting on a governor's forum. And I think it's like this month or something. And I'm helping with my time her, because she has so many things that she's doing in the community. And so I am giving of my time to be a part of that, and to, as much as possible, educate people and make sure that people come out to vote. And so that's something in the past and current that I am doing.
Okay. Darren?
In my youth, I did a lot of that. I was involved in the apartheid, and the thing I remember giving up most is there was this movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy, and it was a movie about a South African who finds a Coke bottle, and it was pretty much
1970 film.
Yeah, it was a terrible movie how it portrayed the South Africans, and I remember it got a good review on NBC. So I boycotted NBC for like 2 years. I wouldn't watch anything on NBC.
What decade was this?
I was when we were still in school, whenever that came out.
What about in the past 20 years?
After all the activism I had when I was younger, I stopped working in I stopped doing the giving up something, and more taking on a proactive doing something. If I want to cause a change, then I will make an action toward that change. And so I went from the deficit model of withholding something to cause a change to being more an asset model of creating or adding to something. So I've not given up anything.
Do you have an example that doesn't involve your work?
Well, I'm one of those fortunate people that love what I do, and what I do is my passion. So,
But you get paid for that.
oh no, like all the boards that I'm on, I don't get paid for. Like the boards that I'm a part of, I don't get paid for. I do those on my own time, and without any compensation. They're not sanctioned by my employer or anything. But offering,
It's career related though.
it's career related. Like I said,
it enhances your career and your state in the community.
absolutely, absolutely. Because like I said, I've just very fortunate that my passion falls within my vocation, and so I get to do that.
Okay, all right.
Are you judging us now, Ron? Is that
No. I'm again. I love pretty words, but they're like chocolate cake sometimes. And okay, I'm good. It is what it is.
So I want to say something. So one of the things that I think is that, like, when you're younger, you have more time.
Mhm.
When you start getting responsibilities, when you start getting a family, unless of course it's something that you're really passionate about, then you don't have as much time to devote to these causes. And so typically when people are in a cause, it's because they have some kind of personal relationship to it, or it's something that they're passionate about. And so that's kind of how I felt in politics. I did it for, let's say, 10 years. And I just realized that unless, of course, you had a lot of money, that it was kind of really hard to make a change, make a substantive change. And so I said, let me go out and make some money so I can come back and really do something.
Mhm.
And for me, it was more. Um, I saw the return on investment in terms of effectiveness. I see a lot of performative virtual signaling activism or keyboard activism that actually doesn't do anything, but it makes people feel better, and that's that has its benefits as well. And so, rather than engaging in that, I decided to engage in things that I could see an impact.
What's an example of keyboard activism so we have a common nomenclature?
Turning people's profiles all black during the Black Lives Matter, the hashtag activism that makes you feel like you've contributed, but in fact, you're adding to the algorithm. So you're not really contributing. You're actually contributing to the side that you claim you're opposed to.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's no sacrifice. What's the old joke? Do you know what the difference is between a pig and a cow at breakfast? I'm sorry, a pig and a chicken. The chicken is involved, but the pig is committed. And yeah, I agree with you on that the virtue signaling of the all black, that's something that really doesn't help. The clip that we watched was an example of a very painless way to contribute to a cause that hits the tech bros.
I disagree. It's performative. You benefit from that, right? You're not paying the subscription, so you save money, you have more time. Yeah. I don't see that. You want to show me that you're really committed, get rid of your high-speed internet and get rid of your smartphone and get a regular flip phone. That will stop all of it. You're no longer doing commerce. You're no longer engaging. All of it's done now.
And go ahead.
But that costs you, right?
Yeah.
Now you have to do more things without contributing to, like, if you still have your high-speed internet, you're still contributing to the internet provider. If you still have your smartphone, you're still contributing to the cell phone company. So you want to show that you're really going to unsubscribe, then really do it. Get rid of your high-speed internet. Don't do it at work. Only do work stuff at work, and get rid of your smartphone so that you're not tempted to go onto a social media or whatever site on your phone. You can still have your phone for practical use.
Yeah.
But these are all businesses. I mean, you're still impacting businesses. It's just a different business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Darren, the way you frame arguments is very interesting. Because if we say that you can make a small step, you immediately go to a binary all or nothing conclusion where you either do everything or you do nothing at all, and you just sit here and enjoy the comforts that you have. And there is a middle ground. And I think that's what you're missing.
I don't agree that there's a middle ground. I think people, it's sort of like the middle class. I think it's a construct because there was no middle ground during the civil rights movement. There was no middle ground.
Yes, there was.
No, there was no middle ground. If you were either participating or you were not.
No.
Or you're sitting on the side. The middle ground helps the oppressors.
False dichotomy. Okay.
The middle ground helps the oppressors.
No, Darren, you're totally misframing it. The middle ground was Dr. Martin Luther King. Because may I finish my thought? I know where it's headed. Okay. The middle ground was Dr. Martin Luther King. Because for Martin Luther King, you either dealt with him or you dealt with Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam. There was a violent threat that you either dealt with the moderate or you dealt with the radical. Okay? When you think about the marches through the South, okay, you think about people singing Kumbaya and marching for television. You don't think about the deacons of justice that were Black people that were well armed, that walked in front of the marchers to make sure there weren't any people with sniper rifles that were going to pick off the marchers. There's always an extreme. The nation chose to deal with the moderate, which was Martin Luther King.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that point, Ron. It's not a zero. This change is not always a zero-sum game, right? Either you're all in or you're all out, right? And I think there had to be people all along the spectrum. You guys have probably seen the movie The Help, right? So like just because the housekeepers and the people who on the Montgomery bus boycott, they didn't ride the bus and they found other ways. They didn't throw out their cars. They did not carpool and get to work just because the bus boycott was going on. They said, well, I still got to feed my family, so we'll figure out another way. But they didn't say we got to bring down the auto industry while we're bringing down the bus, routes. Like everybody plays a role. It all matters. And to your points about the performative nature of like blacking out your screen for Black Lives Matter or the keyboard warrior justice, some of it I agree is performative, but I think it all matters. I think even if it's feeding the algorithm, but other people are picking up on it and it maybe inspires somebody else to do something else, it all matters, on some level.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it mattered when I disconnected my Hulu about the Jimmy Kimmel. And so they lost a lot of money with that. And so it matters.
Mm-hmm.
Every little small step matters. It doesn't have to be a big something. It's just,
that's right.
It's everything put together.
Right.
Okay, well, let me pose this then.
Are you asking the question to understand or to argue right now?
To understand.
Okay.
To understand.
Okay.
When you say everything matters, how do you measure that? That it mattered or impacted? How are you measuring that?
Because it touched somebody. It had a reaction. It could be a small reaction.
Yeah.
It mattered. It doesn't have to be big and astronomical. It's every small thing matters. Every step you take matters.
It could be
I'll give you an example.
This conversation matters.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I completely agree. I think what you're looking at, Darren, is the outcome, right? If it doesn't produce an outcome, did it matter, right? I think that sometimes the arc of the movement, the arc of change seems slow and maybe not even occurring. But I think that you have to have motions big and small in order to get where you're going. Let's look at Project 2025. there were probably people who thought like 10, 15, 20 years ago, whenever that idea first started to germinate, like, what difference does it make if you have a white paper about this thing that we want to do or whatever? We'll never be able to do it. And then suddenly the ground was laid that led to someone getting in power where that idea could now take traction. And now it's the reality that we're living in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where your actions are going to lead. You just know that you have to take action that you feel inspired to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead, Darren.
I was done. I don't want to get too astray from Ron's point.
Right.
Well, my point is, and I think Ella said it perfectly, is every small change matters. It's the butterfly effect. You have no idea what's going to happen, but if you are contributing to it, you're making an effort and you're taking a stand against something that you don't believe in. If you don't believe in the policies of ICE, then you take a small stand. Is it going? Did it get them all out of Minneapolis? Don't know. Did the killings do it? Probably did. But if people are saying, and if Scott Galloway in the opening video are leading a cause and they're putting their neck on the line to say, I believe in this, and I'll deal with the advertisers that don't want to advertise on Pivot or the Prof G marketplace or whatever, he is saying, I'm going to vote with my time and my treasures to take this stand. Whether I know the outcome is going to be successful or not, I'm willing to take the journey. And what I'm not hearing is something in the past 20, 25 years, Darren, where you've said, you know what? I'm actually going to take a stand. I don't know the outcome. I'm not divine, but I am bothered by this enough to say, I'm going to stop talking and start executing on something, even if it's just shutting off Netflix, which is what caused this conversation. How hard is it to turn off Netflix? Or YouTube Premium? I mean, we got a list of them that we've turned off in the past month. How hard is that to take a stand? I'm not asking you to go protest. I'm just asking you to put your actions where your good words are.
So let me also say that I was helping this candidate run for office. And so then I said, okay, well, I'm going to call 10 people, and then that person will call 10 people, and then that person will call 10 people. And so, it's a compound effect, and it's by one person doing something that touches others, and then it just compounds. And so that's
you didn't say, Ella, what is the good of calling 10 people? It probably won't mean anything. You said, no, 10 times 10 times 10.
Well,
exactly.
that's a proactive action. That's doing something. That's not unsubscribing. That's not removing yourself.
Doing something.
It's actually doing something. And that's what I said. Over the last 20 years, my actions have been to do something. And I if people feel like boycotting or not buying a particular car model, or that's perfectly fine for whatever it is that makes them feel like they're contributing. What I'm saying is, given my time and the amount of time I have on the planet, I want my actions to be forward leaning toward causing something.
What?
Well, I'm a part of this group, Engineers and Scientists Acting Locally. I'm on their board, and it's about advocacy for science and engineering in community so that people can be empowered to petition their local government for environment or resources. Those are the things that I'm involved in, which is empowering people to do things.
And that sounds amazing. I'm still contributing to your STEM program, by the way.
Yes, I saw.
Okay. But by being on that board, isn't your program a beneficiary of your work?
No, not in that one. No, it's separate.
But Darren, what I'm trying to figure out is why there's such a harsh dichotomy between anything you do is a proactive thing. Even by undoing what you normally do, it's something where you had to take the initiative to do the thing. And if you say that it benefits you economically, now you've got 20 extra bucks in your bank account per month, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because maybe you take that 20 bucks and you put it toward your STEM program or whatever the case may be. Anything you do is a proactive thing, even if it's resisting the inertia. But I think Ron's getting at, and Scott Galloway is getting at, a bigger point, which is that you have to make a stand economically in these times in order to get to move the needle. Because it's obvious in everything we've seen, from how big businesses, law firms, tech magnates or whatever address the idea that I might lose money if I take a moral stand and I decide that that the democracy that allowed me to build the fortune is at stake by being at the whim of one man. I'm willing to be at the whim of one man than sacrifice the possibility of putting my billions to work to make sure that the system still operates, right? So Scott Galloway is saying, like, okay, so if that's the game we're playing, then we need to take away from some of those billions in mass. And so why is that more performative than doing what you're doing?
It's more performative in my opinion, because you don't really have to have any skin in the game. You don't really have to, you can get involved without a loss.
Your convenience is a loss. What
But
about
what I'm saying, it's a convenience that's lost. You're not.
That matters. It matters. That doesn't matter.
And
when people stop going to Target, or people stop using Amazon, and now you have to get in your car, or you have to pay a higher price. You have to do whatever it is to get that thing. There's a cost to that.
Preach.
I just I don't see it that way.
But Darren, your whole argument of your treasures that you give is based on an economic benefit you receive in the educational system that you're a part of. So you're not giving up anything. You're benefiting from your stands financially.
No, because I get the same thing. Whether I do it or not, it's the same for me. There's not a benefit for me.
There is. There's a reputational benefit, because you are now considered an expert in the industry in diversity and STEM education. So you get a good table at a banquet, and you get, pats on the back.
Not a benefit. Not a benefit.
For the majority of the people, we would say that's a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not hearing what you are giving up in terms of your time or treasure to something where you're not a beneficiary of the outcome.
Well, that's the same argument I'm making about what you just said with Scott Galloway. You are benefiting because you're getting more. You're getting your money and your time back.
No, you're mistaken, because I would give the $22 right now to resubscribe to YouTube Premium. I hate those friggin' commercials. Okay, we have a Whole Foods that's about 1.5 miles away, but we go to Sprouts and we go to Trader Joe's because we're not going to go to Whole Foods. Okay, so we are making choices with our time and our money to shop at places that we want and not shop at places that we don't. Now, again, this gets back to what your false dichotomy of, it's either all in or nothing. I'm just going to stay here and do nothing. Okay, we are giving you examples of things that we're doing, but they're not rising to this ultimate test, which is it has to be 100% involvement.
And why are we trying to convince him of this?
I don't know. I just said,
why does it matter? What do you think?
Exactly.
I think it matters because it's an existential question vis-a-vis the audience, right? Because I think this is a push and pull that many people have as to, well, if I don't unsubscribe to whatever, what difference does it make? right? I don't actually, that's not even the argument Darren's making. I think Darren's making the argument that you're really not doing anything.
Nothing matters.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing matters. It's
So let him have that. I mean,
Well,
why do we care?
No,
I'm just
you care
asking.
because we're talking to a broader. Darren represents a broader perspective, hopefully, and that's the question to the people who are watching: is that like, where do you land on this? Because it's not an easy question. I mean, Darren, in my mind, Darren's response is not unfounded, right? It's a little nihilistic. It's a little bit, it's a little bit zero-sum game. But I think that's the question that it's a question. I'll tell you what, Ella, it's the question I ask myself. Like, when I unsubscribed from Hulu or whatever, there was that pang of whatever, because there may be something that I really would like to watch, or from Netflix or whatever, like those things are sacrifices. If those are things that you've gotten used to, now you have to fill that with something else, or feel like, well, nobody's going to know. Right. So the question is, what's the value for you, even if it has no, and I'll ask you this, Ella, because I think this is a worthwhile question, piggybacking on Ron's subject, right? If nobody knows that you did the thing, how important is it to you? And if nothing ever changes as a result, was it worth doing it for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't do it for other people. I did it for myself.
That's right.
So it's not about what somebody knows. It's about what is important to me. And so you might not ever know all the things that I do, but I'm standing firm on whatever it is that I'm standing firm on. Right.
And Ella, I agree with you. And, one of the examples I gave sometime last year is our family. So we sold our positions in Amazon and in Tesla because we didn't believe in the direction those companies were headed. Darren says, okay, but did you give all the money away? See, and this is another example of that false dichotomy where if you do a deed, if I can poke a hole in it and show that it wasn't the ultimate sacrifice, then the sacrifice wasn't worth it at all. Tell me if I'm misstating what you said, Darren.
No, he said let go of S&P too, because they're a part of that.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, it's not that your sacrifice isn't worth noting. I'm saying that the impact isn't what you say it is.
Oh, I know that my little couple hundred shares didn't do squat.
Yes, but
it did do something. Don't believe what he's talking about.
It did something for you.
It did something for you.
It did something for you, and that's what I'm saying.
And it did something for the company too. Yes. Because they want as many shares as they can get, period. Every share matters. Right.
But and again, that's why, and as Nick is saying, this isn't about Darren per se. It's about people that virtue signal, but that you can't figure out, okay, well, but what exactly are you doing to show that your deeds align with your words? And I think that's what I'm just trying to tug on right now.
Well, I'll give you a for instance with your Whole Foods example.
This is going to be a counter argument to why it doesn't matter, right?
No, it's not a counter argument. It's why I have issues with the whole sense of what you're saying.
Okay.
It's sort of like when people would say, we're not going to buy gas on Wednesday to show the oil companies. Well, you're going to buy it on Thursday. So, that's
not what he said. He
doesn't go there. But that's what I'm saying.
No, stop.
Well, let me finish. You're not letting me finish my thought. So, Whole Foods, bad, but Sprouts and Trader Joe's have also had some issues that deal with labor, racism. And so you're saying I'm not going to spend money at Amazon because I don't like their support here, but I am going to spend money at these companies that are anti-union, that have issues of race and harassment in their workplace. Yep. And to me, it's like you're just choosing your poison.
Darren, I love you, man. I love you because you are so predictable. You did exactly what I've been saying you've been doing. If you take a stand, you're going to find a reason that the stand should be undermined and it isn't worthy of you doing anything. Therefore, I'm going to regress to doing nothing. You went to Google or Chat GPT, and then you saw that you searched on on Sprouts and Trader Joe's, you found some information that you thought, those are nice arrows for my quiver. I'm going to launch them and I'm going to undermine your argument, which is exactly what you do, which is you don't want to have this middle ground. You want it all or nothing, and it's nothing. Therefore, I'm just going to stay doing what I'm doing.
No, what I'm saying is whatever steps you're taking, because of the system that we're in, we are rearranging chairs on the Titanic. And that's what my point is. We're rearranging chairs on the Titanic.
The end game of your point is, therefore, I'm not going to do anything. Because the only thing you're giving that you've been doing is drawing a paycheck, working in academia, and furthering your career through boards.
Okay.
Right. It's almost like Darren is caught between rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic and the people who were fiddling while Rome was burning, right? So either way, it's going down. So either you're going to be furiously rearranging deck chairs, or you're just going to act like it's not happening while it burns down around you. It sounds like Darren rather just act like it's not happening while it burns down around
I'm going to be in the band playing while the ship goes down.
And see,
right.
all I'm asking, and I know this is a painful conversation, but you started it in the fellas chat, so that you get what you get. All I'm asking you to do, man, is think about there are small steps we can take. Again, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos doesn't give a squat about us selling their stock a year ago, okay? But it makes, as Ella said, it makes me feel good. I did something.
And I'm perfectly fine with that.
But what are you doing? Is all we're asking is look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I doing to show that my words and my deeds are aligned? Yes, to show.
To yourself, not to the world, but to yourself.
To the world. We've made it very clear it's not for the world, it's for you. What do you, I mean, we can't even get you to cancel Netflix. I mean,
because I don't see like Darren, not saying it what isn't right for Ron. Darren doesn't see the value in it.
But what value? I get. But what is the cause that you will see value and you will do something other than just go to work and go to boards?
Well, like I said, I'm one of those fortunate people that I get to work in a field. Like I can do other things and make a lot of money with my background. I choose not to. I choose to stay where I am and have for decades. I've had the ability, I've had offers. I could be doing something else and making a lot of money, but I choose to stay where I am because I can see the impact that I make. It's not a paycheck for me. If it were a paycheck, I'd go do something else and make 5 times what I make now. I could do that. I have the opportunity, the network, the skills. I have that. I just don't, because where I am now, I get to make that impact. So it's not me drawing a paycheck. I don't do it for the paycheck. I make a lot less doing what I do now than what I could on the open market.
And when it's 5 o'clock and your day is over and you go home, that's the end of your causes until 8 o'clock the next morning?
I work 7 days a week.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, no. What you said is when at the end of the 5. I don't.
Okay.
What you mean is at the end of the 5.
I apologize. At the end of your workday, is that the end of your cause?
No.
What causes do you have after your workday?
Well, I go to meetings that are far past my workday. I work 14-hour days some days. I don't get paid to work 14-hour days. I work on weekends. I don't get paid to work on weekends.
But this is for your job.
Again, I'm not getting paid. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we're all salaried. Well, I'm sorry, you and I are salaried. Ella and Nick aren't, but yeah, we're all salaried.
Yeah, you're salaried, but if you're salaried, you can work 40 hours and get the same pay whether you work 40 hours or 80 hours. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary for my employment. In my 40-hour work week, I do enough to excel in there, but doing more, being involved, going out into the community, having conversations with families, meeting with parents, talk to their kids about college, doing those types of things. Those are not part of my job, those are part of my passion, and
Well,
I get to do that.
listen, Darren, we beat you up enough to
Yeah.
Ella's point, I think whatever.
There's a reason why women aren't part of this male chat because we wouldn't put up with this stuff. This is just who even cares?
Right.
Um,
Yeah, but Darren, I think whether you see it or not, like your resist and unsubscribe is the hours that you put in doing things that you aren't necessarily paid for. And other people, who are watching this may have similar things, right? The question is for you guys, like where does your convenience stop and your passion begins with sacrificing, right? Like what are you willing to sacrifice in terms of your time and talent and treasure toward whatever change that you want to see? We're really interested to know. I'm sure Darren's not the only one that sees it the way he does, nor Ron or Ella or me, but we want to know what you guys think of it. And it's a worthwhile thing to consider. It's a worthwhile thing to consider. So Ron, thank you for bringing us that spirited topic. That I'm sure
that was only the first question. There's
I
two
was gonna
more.
say that.
well, I think time being as it is. Next time, Ron, don't drill Darren so hard, and we'll have more time to talk. Why don't you give us one more? Give us one more question, and then take us to your parting shot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Ella, this is a 3-part episode, apparently. So, all right, I'm gonna pick the third one. What are you planning to give of your time or treasures in the next 12 to 24 months for a cause or causes you believe are worthy of your time, money, or both? So I'll go first. Give Darren time to just
We'll
relax.
just let you and Ella answer that.
Okay.
Just let you and Ella answer.
I've started conversations with the West LA College Foundation, so I'm going to be involved with them over the next couple of years, especially when I have more free time. But just trying to help the director of that get that sort of where he wants it to go and his vision. And I'm also, going to continue to be involved with the Black Alumni Council at USC. And I'm also looking at here locally, I'm looking at organizations that want data center slow growth. It is a plight in our area. Ashburn is the #1 region for data center traffic or internet traffic in the world. There's something called a network effect, which means that people want to be closer to data centers because they're closer to Amazon, Google, whatever, Facebook. So it's only going to get worse and is causing concerns about energy and things like that. So I want to get involved in the slow growth of data centers here in the region. So those are the 3 things I'm going to be focused on over the next 12, 24 months.
So what is slow growth of data centers? What does that mean?
Trying to create additional hurdles and give backs and set asides for the communities, so that way we slow down the number of data centers that are being built. They take a lot of energy, a lot of water, and it raises the property tax, not the property taxes, the utility bills for residents in the community. It's not affecting us now, but because it's a massive source of revenue, but it's an eyesore. And it's also something where it's going to have an impact on affordability based on utility costs and things like that. So slowing it down, so we're not just driving and seeing 10 data centers a month being built. Maybe it's only 5. That would be a win.
And so how do you guys go about doing that?
I haven't been closely involved enough yet to really understand how we're doing that. But in a nutshell, it's a lot of lobbying of Richmond, which is our state capital, and the politicians there. We have boards that approve the zoning for these data centers. So political activism, I guess, Ella, is the bottom line.
That's great. So like I said, I'm going to volunteer and support my daughter who is so into all different kind of activities. Like I said, she's part of an organization that's putting on a governor's forum in the next couple weeks um, through her her sorority, and all these other women of AT&T they give away all kinds of scholarships and stuff, and I'm gonna give my time to her and her organizations because she's deeply rooted in it, and I live vicariously through her, and I want to support her and also, to help her. She needs help. She's always talking about needing help, so that's what I'm gonna do.
And I'm going to binge watch across all of the streaming platforms.
You're gonna level up to the highest subscription rate.
Yeah, I'm going to get the YouTube Platinum. So
You're gonna get a separate subscription for every member of the family. So that's
yes,
great.
we each are going to get one. Even my dog is going to have his own channel. That's what I'm going to do.
Got it.
I'm going to order extra stuff on Amazon this week. And I'm going to
we all have to play our role.
Teslas.
We all play our role, Darren. All right, Ron. Well, I hope that was satisfying for you, man. You got some definitely pulled out the best, I think.
Spirited conversation.
Yes. And we hope you guys enjoyed as well, gave you something to think about. So before we get out of here, Ron, tell us about your party shop today.
So I want to show a clip on something very light. Can you run the clip on journaling, please?
Got you.
Hi guys! So today is a monumental occasion for me. I have completed my 2018 to 2022 A6 Hobonichi 5-year Techo. I bought this the first year that they came out, and I have used it every day since. So on the left, I wrote the main events of the day, and on the right, I wrote things that I was grateful for that happened that day, or my very favorite events of the day. I've used a variety of different inks, but no stickers and no other form of decoration, which is why it has retained quite a slimlined look, although it has been spotted with tea and besmirched with ink stains and all kinds of other dirt. This has been my loyal and constant companion over the past 5 years, and it's caught all kinds of crazy historical events and events in my life. And I've really enjoyed filling it in and haven't had any problems keeping up with it because I haven't had to write long form. It's just a list of bullet points, basically, so it's been easy. At the end of each year, I wrote the top events of the year, and it's done. Hi, guys.
Yep.
Nice.
So I have my own 5-year journal that I started in January, and ironically, I was in LA, and you can't see it, but that's me and the girls. That's the fellas at our friend's 60th birthday party, and there she is coming in the door. And I'm writing something every day, and then each year you come back and you look at, oh, this is what was going on that day a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I think the reason I think it's fascinating, and the reason I started it, is because for all of us, the next 5 years, we don't know what is going to happen. Hopefully, we're all going to retire, although I know, Ella, you want to work till you drop, I believe. But there's a lot of life that's going to happen. And being able to journal it and say, here's what happened, here's what the journey was like. It's an amazing keepsake. And it's also a way to put perspective on, here's what happened today that I just don't want to forget. So highly recommend it. Journal it. We all have our story, and that's a way to write it down and reflect upon it later in life.
Nice.
Sweet. Anybody, Ella? I know you're a journaler too, right?
Yeah, I journal every day.
Do you
I write it
really?
down. Oh yeah. I get up I journal, and then also I have a gratitude journal. So when I wake up in the morning, I read these things and I, do my gratitude. And so I journal at night, and I keep it with me all day too. Yeah.
Is it a small, like an A6 or a smaller
No,
one?
it's Oprah's book actually. So so basically it has weekly reflections. So I got this from Oprah, The Life You Want. And so it has different kind of sayings and stuff, and it's for all, I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
But yeah, so I like this because I like to get some inspiration, and I like to tag it with stuff and put, sticky things on it and all that kind of stuff.
The thing that I think about in terms of the journaling, and you probably have already thought about this, is at some point when we're not here anymore,
Yeah.
you know, many people, our kids would be like, oh, this is what was going on
Mm-hmm.
in their life. I didn't know that. This is what they were dealing with. I've been converting from a digital journal to paper, and I'm in 2014 right now.
Okay.
I was unemployed. I was dealing with, in-laws moving in to our basement. I was dealing with all this stress in my life, and I'm looking at that, and I'm also seeing the highlights of the year as well, the good moments. And it's just fascinating to see what was I dealing with back.
Yeah. What were you thinking about? What was important to you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Oh,
Yeah, I joined the journal crew myself last year. So
Wow.
what?
yeah, it is really
transformative.
in the whole tradition of Marcus Aurelius, right, who's like the big stoic, the big stoic name drop that everyone does these years, where it talks about how, to your point, Ron, he had all these thoughts and wisdoms that he never thought was ever going to be published. To your point, it was just something he was doing for himself, as the legend goes. And then after his death, it was discovered, and it became a tome for many people to be able to see the wisdom of a person who had great authority and power, and yet was very self-reflective. And so I know for me, I need to spend more time reflecting on my days, my thoughts, my experiences, and so forth. And that's kind of why I got into it too.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
we
We
are
are
learning.
learning stuff about each other that we didn't even know.
There we go. There we go. So
Yeah,
it's a good day.
I'm not into the analog journaling, but I do reflections. The OneDrive and
Why are
Google
we surprised
Photos.
by that?
Well, OneDrive and Google Photos sends me, the pictures for the day for the last however many years. I've got pictures going back, 10, 20 years. So it'll say on this day, and I get a chance to reflect. At the end of the year, I go through my Google Calendar to see what I did. And I go through I use Asana, my project management tool, to see what I accomplished. So I do my reflections through the things that I did and the things that I captured on my phone or something. So that's what I do my reflections on.
Yeah, it's good to know that Google and all the other apps aren't the only ones who are monitoring your every move that you're actually taking.
Oh my gosh, every move.
Those subscriptions are serving you well, man. I got it.
Yes.
So I just want to say that I had a book. Actually, when Lisa moved out of her place in Leimert Park, when was that? 2017. It was a long time ago. I packed it up, and inside, because she had left it and she had gone to New York, and Tracy had given her a journal, and it was she gave it. It said 1989, and she just kind of left it, and I took it. I thought it was beautiful, right? Because it had pictures, it had places for all different parts of your life. And so when I lost my house in Lafayette Square, I took that and I started putting down everything that I wanted, right? And so, and I would see it every day, from health to money to house to this to everything. And I would get it, and every morning I'd look at it and I'd read it and I'd touch it.
Yep.
And I'm here to tell you that everything that I put down there, I got. Because it's all about what you because I was like, I want a house. I wanted to be I wanted to have a pool. I wanted to have a walk-in closet. I wanted to have an island. I wanted to be on a secluded street. All of those things I got. And so there's so much power to this. It's so much power to visualizing, because I did this particular one was pictures. And so then I talked about myself. I was like, I am beautiful. I am this, I am that. And every day I just touched it and I recited it and I just went forth, and all of that stuff came true. So it's just something to be said about really reflecting on what you want and putting it out there.
So, Ella, it's really interesting that you point that out, because I mentioned that in 2014, I was going through, I don't know, I think I was unemployed for 5 or 6 months. But and I said I was converting it to paper, and this is July 4th, 2014.
And there's your car.
There's the car.
Yeah.
Even when I'm unemployed,
Exactly.
I'm like, but I'm
Focus.
still
Yes.
one day I'm getting that.
Exactly.
And yeah, you keep locking in on your dreams and goals, even during hard times.
And it
it shows.
comes.
Yeah. I'm still trying to reconcile that law of attraction, power of intention thing, like to manifest the things that you want. In my journaling, I tend to be more reflective than projective. Like I don't necessarily project into at least at this point, project into the future things that I want, right? I'm more trying to get intimate with myself about the things that I'm learning and stuff like that. But I can see how there's a whole ethic around like projecting the things that you want to have and be, do, and have. So
actually, they're two separate things, because the journal is just like you said, the reflection. That's more of a storyboard, as something that you're looking for to do, and it's all about what you focus on. You get what you focus on, and so it's having those. It's focusing on it, and then you're just taking the small steps to get it done. So. Yeah.
And I think the way I did it and the way I do it now is I'm like, what's on my mind today? So at some points it was like, you know what, I want that car. At other times it's like, got a rejection letter from here, got a rejection letter from here. It's whatever's in your life, I think, is important. That it doesn't have to be just only goals or only sorrow. It's whatever's going on that day in your life, because that's what matters.
Right. There's no wrong way to just be in your own space. So, hopefully you guys who are, I'm sure there's a lot of journalers out there, people who've dabbled or people who want to. So we're happy to hear how you approach the subject and, whether you feel like you've made breakthroughs on your own. So we welcome your thoughts and reflections and your comments. And we certainly hope that you guys will follow us and like and subscribe and share this episode, which we think has something for everybody.
Everybody,
whether you're a slave to technology like Darren or whether you're a cord cutter like Ron, it's like there's always a room in the spectrum for all of us. So Ron, thank you for that great topic today, and Ella and Darren for your wise insights, and for all of you guys who are on this journey like we are. We certainly, again, hope you'll subscribe and keep up with us and let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what topics you'd even like for us to cover in our own way. And we thank you for being with us. So, guys, with that,
one thing for Ron. So someone once told me the cosmic joke of my life is my last name is Gray, and I only see in black and white.
Good. Yep.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. You God played a real trick on you with that one. So
you can change the story arc. That's the other part of it. That's the next sentence.
That's it. You are who you choose to be. So yeah. So anyway, guys, we've held you long enough. Thanks again, and we will see you guys on the next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.